Mayor, distinguished council, thank you for letting me come and speak in the department's behalf. From the company called Mobilecom, Mobile Communications, you may be aware of us. What we've been asked to do is to review the communication systems for both the fire and the police department as it currently stands now. There's been some issues that have come up over the years by nobody's fault, but just federal regulations in some cases, and in some cases it's age. One of the issues that came up some years ago was the Federal Communications that decided they were going to change the bandwidth of the communication systems from 25 kilohertz down to 12.5. What this typically did was it shrunk your coverage areas and made them a little less more effective. I don't know that this was their intention when they did it, but the reasoning behind it was described to us as that the bandwidths and bands were getting full and they needed to make room for other frequencies. So by doing this, what happened is that areas that were maybe fringe before have now disappeared. I find spotty communications in a lot of areas, areas where they may have to move to even make communications because of a dead spot that originally wasn't there on the original design. So what we did is we looked at what you currently have now, and then sent a proposal to the two chiefs to what we recommend to fix it so that they get them back better than what they were before. One of the issues right now is the fire department currently is a full simplex system, basically saying that they operate truck to truck. Okay, they have no repeating system within the city to help them assist in weak areas. Okay, so what communications they have is basically from unit to unit, or unit back to their base. This is challenging for any department, especially with the terrain that you have here, because if they get on the back side of a hill, the other units are on another side of a hill, it becomes very difficult to talk, and Mark can probably.
Just to add on to that, right now, if Rescue 7 and the personnel are inside a house and they call us on their portable or handheld radio, we can't hear them at all at the station. So if they would be calling for help or assistance or police assistance, that does not get out from the household to a radio we can hear it. They have to go back out to the actual vehicle they drive there and get on that, and even that's scratchy at best at times right now.
Okay, so the solution that we came up with the fire department is to move their system to a full repeated system. And basically what that means is we would convert their current base station to a full-blown repeater, meaning that just exactly what the chief just described, the portable communications then will go to a repeater, will be magnified by the power of the repeater, and then resent out. Okay, so much just like Big Brother helping out on a hilltop. If you see what I'm getting at there. The other thing that happens too is that one-to-many communication is very important in both police and fire, because you may want to just talk to one person or maybe two, but a lot of times your communication is very important for everybody to hear, especially if it's a disaster, something that they're trying to do an evacuation, or they don't have time to simply call through the line to make sure everybody got the same message. So one-to-many is very important. This repeater then does that for them, because then they all receive it at the same time. The other thing we looked at for the police department is they have a repeated system now, but it has some challenges because of some of the locations of the antennas where they were at. This is going back to this narrowbanding situation where by relocating some of these, we can improve their communications dramatically. And then also by doing some frequency changes with them. Currently, they have some interference in their radios.
Yes, for example, because of narrow banding and those bands running, you have one channel to transmit, one to receive. And oftentimes if the cars are together, let's say we're in pursuit, we can't hear each other because you wash each other out because they're so close when they narrow banded. So part of this would be to move us out, I believe, 3 frequencies.
Correct.
Away from each other on our transmit and receive, which we would expect to see some results there That involves some licensing to the FCC. Today, we were at a house, when they were at a fire, we're serving a felony warrant on a meth thing, and I got two officers in front and I'm in the back, we can't talk to each other, because we're not hitting the repeater, and yet we're too close. So we end up doing that, you know, hand signal stuff. The change would be dramatic, I believe, some of these changes.
So, by making those changes, then it gives them both a full-blown repeated system. Many benefits to both of them. The second thing that what we had proposed was that, one of the other challenges, I should say, you have is the system is currently tied to, phone lines. In many areas, there's phone lines being utilized between transmitters. And what we'd like to have you consider is a newer technology. And that would be to do a, what's called radio link or a microwave link. And basically, we would be doing a wireless link between sites in order to eliminate any phone line issues that they would have. And I know that does come up fairly.
And the other reason why for that is Verizon is actually getting out of the copper cable lines that we use for our radio system. And that's the fear is really there's nobody else out there practicing it because it's a, you know, an antiquated system that is no longer needed. And where that line runs at right now is it actually runs to the hydrant pillar up on the north side, and the radio communications go from that wire out to the rest of us. And it goes down a lot, quite often.
And when that does go down, they become completely inoperable. They have nothing. It takes them down to basically using hand signals, I think somebody said earlier, to get to that point. So by making those changes, that eliminates the phone lines and by the way, any rentals you would have associated with those, which sometimes are very expensive. The third thing that we'd like to see you consider is the addition of some voters and additional receivers. The additional receivers basically becomes extra ears, if you will, that receive the signal coming in, and then it goes back to a voting system, which then gives best audio back to these guys. Okay, so you have multiple receivers in the city that are receiving the same signal, but some may be receiving better than others, so that's why we would recommend a voted system in that case. So as they move about throughout the city, that's gonna change. Terrain's gonna change, it's gonna change where they're at, and so on. The voters work in the background to always pick best audio and then send that back to the transmitters, okay? So whether it be portable, mobile, whatever the case may be. So those are some of the things that we had, advised them that would be the best solution moving forward. And if within the next 5, 10, 15 years, if you want to look out that far, these are all changes that helps get you ready for the next generation of communications. The microwave system is a definite, because if you ever choose down the road that you decide you want to start entertaining the idea of a digital communication system, the microwave would be right in line with what you would need for something like that. The copper pairs that Mark was referring to earlier, most of the telephone companies are trying to get away from that. It's very old technology, and frankly, they're just not I don't think they're really looking to expand it. We've kind of had some conversations with them over the years about it, and pretty much what's there is what's there. So any change in the system moving forward would be very challenging, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, because they wouldn't be able to supply us with what we need.